Welcome to Pittsburgh's historic South Side and Highmark Stadium on a sweltering summer Saturday. We're here in the second game of a three-game homestand for the Riverhounds Soccer Club, taking on the struggling expansion Birmingham Legion FC. So time to strike is now for the home squad. I'm Matt Geico alongside Paul Child. We'll be bringing you the play-by-play and color analysis respectively tonight. The Hounds aiming for their first three-game win streak since last August. And Paul, it's been success on both sides of the ball. They've outscored their opponents 8-0 over their past two matches, including 3-0 here against second place New York last weekend.
No, they've really finally broke out of the shell, Matt, and started scoring some goals. And I'm sure that Bob Lilly's looking for a bunch more goals again. Tonight should be another game where he's got to go out there and attack from the beginning.
And a team is in a good spot when it has one of its strikers going well. The Hounds have the luxury of having two strikers going well right now. Nico Brett, last year's 15-goal man, has goals in back-to-back matches. And Steven Dos Santos, the off-season signing, the big man, playing a little bit receded now. He and Brett up top, working well together. Dos Santos, 2 goals and 2 assists in the last two.
Yeah, they're coming together really well. We've noticed the last few games, this last game, they really got it together. And Dos Santos playing laying back from Brett, you know, not going up front. You'd think he would do because he's the big, tall guy and look for the high balls, but laying back, getting some balls, making some great passes through to Nico Brett to score goals.
So Pittsburgh in year 2 of the Bob Lilly era, surging, hopefully, into the midsummer. As for Birmingham, it was a good start, 3-2-1, but now winless in their past 10, 0-7-3 in USL Championship matches since late April. And the problem has been mostly at the defensive end, Paul, lately. 14 goals conceded in their past 5, including 3 in the back of their net at Indy on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's got to be a problem for them, especially, I'm sure they're coming into here thinking they've probably never been to Pittsburgh as well. So this is a new stadium to play in. I'm sure they're looking to kind of change that around and stop goals being scored against them.
Well, a huge part of the load for Birmingham Legion has been on the keeper, Matt Van Oekel. There you see 32 saves. This will be his 12th start tonight. He's also the captain of this squad, 32-year-old Virginian. That's what happens a lot of times with expansion teams, Paul. You lean on the guy between the sticks.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's a terrible position if you really think about it, Matt. You know, you get scored on, you're the last line of defense, and everybody looks at you, and there's a goal against us again, and it's your fault. But this guy's been around a long time. He's mature, experienced, so I'm sure he's going to help this team out.
I don't know why anyone would want to play keeper, but that's a story for another time. Hounds trying to stay hot. Birmingham trying to go into a week off on a high. We'll find out which team prevails after this on ESPN+.
Okay, go ahead and stand up for me. Good. Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is just...
Now, if you get home and that's a little more tender.
Can I give you a hug? I can't believe it. I was in surgery this morning. Oh my gosh.
Call 412 Doctors to schedule an appointment at Allegheny Health Network.
You don't want to miss the action at Highmark Stadium Saturday, July 13th, when the Tampa Bay Rowdies come to town for a 7 p.m. match. It's our Hall of Fame induction with a special Legends game at noon. See some of your favorite Riverhounds players from years gone by. Gates open at 5:30, dollar beers until kickoff. The first 1,000 fans will receive a free rally towel courtesy of Image 360. Find out more at riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
I should have been a cowboy. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour 2019. Red Solo Cup. Friday, September 27th, 7:30 at Highmark Stadium with special guests Clay Walker and Gabby Barrett. Toby Keith. Whiskey for my man. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Trusty Entertainment. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour.
Explore a world of music on WQED.
Explore sweater sessions on WQED.
Explore educational opportunities.
Explore science.
Explore early childhood learning.
Explore Nebby on WQED.
Explore the power of the arts.
Explore Pittsburgh Eats.
Explore diversity on WQED.
And And we are seconds from kick here in Pittsburgh at Highmark Stadium. Let's take a look at the starting 11 for expansion side Birmingham Legion FC. And a tactical change here, Paul Child, for head coach Tom Sohn. We've seen him go with 5 in the back. This time it's 4, and it looks like 4 guys who are going to be ready to defend, not necessarily get up the pitch.
Yeah, really. I think it's going to play a 4-4-2, and we're going to see that obviously right from the beginning. But he's been playing with 5 at the back and really trying to pack it in. It seems a little bit strange because they haven't won a few games. So now it's interesting to see him do that.
Well, they're playing on just 2 days rest as well, so we'll see what their stance is like. We know what the formation is probably going to look like. As for Bob Lilly and the Hounds trying for their 3rd consecutive win for the first time this season, we see Kyle Morton get another start, and we see the same lineup as last time out, the last 2 times out. Why change anything right now with the way the club is playing?
Yeah, obviously, Matt, you're not going to change anything with the way the team's been playing. This is working for them. James is getting up the field. Frankie's getting up the field, making crosses. And Santos and Brad have been really capitalizing on stuff, and Kerr's in a perfect position there to set up players as well.
The Hounds will be in the gold with the black shorts and the gold socks. Birmingham in the all-white. The Legion making their first trip ever to Pittsburgh, the first match ever between these 2 sides. And I mentioned Morton, Kyle Morton, the 25-year-old from the Philadelphia area, working on a 2 clean sheet streak. He's made 10 saves in his past 2 matches, so they haven't exactly been the most leisurely experiences for him, but I think most keepers like to get some action, and he certainly has in the last 2.
No, he needs to, and I'm sure they're going to try and, get him the ball as often as they can to get him into the game as well.
So here come the Hounds working against what's probably going to be a road-weary Legion side. They've played 4 of their last 5 on the road. I mentioned they were at Indy, now first place Indy 11, and they lost 3-0 on Wednesday. Ryan James serving it through to the captain, Canardo Forbes, and right back to Toby Adewale. The Hounds trying to play on the front foot here as they move down to our left. The rains have passed through. It seems like we should have smooth sailing the rest of the evening.
Yeah, and the temperature's gone down a little bit too now, so that's a good temperature to play in. And Hounds trying to put some pressure on. I'm thinking straight from the beginning here, Matt. I would imagine Bob wants to just pin Birmingham back in their own end as much as he possibly can.
The Hounds coming in with a record of 4-2-7, just 2 losses all year, both of them on the road. Dos Santos, who set up Brett for the first goal last week. Now Forbes tries to step up, but he's dispossessed. The ball bounces right back to the Hounds and Robbie Mertz. And back to Forbes, sliding it through. Dos Santos couldn't get a toe on it, and now Brett's taken down. And it'll be a goal kick. It'll be a goal kick. I thought there was a chance on Van Okel's challenge. The keeper came out.
Boy, that was... I'm surprised at that one because it looked like the keeper grabbed hold of his leg as he was going by. We'll probably see a replay of it and we can get a good look at it now.
Brett using that work rate to get in.
Oh, yeah.
Van Okel saying, I got ball, and then it was off Brett. Tough to tell from that angle, actually, what happened at the point of attack.
Yeah, really.
But Van Okel will boot it away, making his 12th start. Matt Van Okel wears the captain's armband. He's the leader of this Birmingham side.
And he was trying to make the referees mind up straight away with shaking his finger, no penalty. And right there, it looks to me like you're a culprit when you start doing that. But,
deep one to Hoffman, offside. Birmingham. Well, he already introduced himself, but the head referee is Thomas Snyder. He made that call. James Dooling, Jonah Kind are on the sidelines, and Jason Caruso is the 4th official. They're in the red. Pretty vibrant looking game out there with gold and the red. The white, it's a nice palette.
Beautiful night now with the rain passed over, and it's really has cooled down a lot.
It was in the mid-80s. It's been in the mid-80s the last 2 or 3 days. The heater has turned on in western Pennsylvania. It has officially become summer, right when the solstice hit, in fact, about a week ago. So, yeah, as advertised. The Hounds trying to improve upon a home record of 2-0-4 this year. Make it 4-0-4, counting U.S. Open Cup. Brett's flick does not connect to Dos Santos. Well, there you see a reversal. You saw Brett come back for the ball and Dos Santos make a run.
And I think you're going to see that whole game. They're going to just switch plays. Not a free kick again, so.
Mertz tackled by Femi Hollinger-Jansen, who takes this one and lets a wild shot go. He fell down on the wet pitch.
Yeah, still a little bit slick right now. And as we said, this artificial turf, when it's got some water on it, it's perfect for for forwards, which I would have loved to shoot on goal and hit them hard and low, so this ball skips off the turf.
Doesn't lose much speed when it skips in the wet conditions. You just saw Tom Sohn, the first-year head coach of Birmingham. Obviously, everyone's a first year for the Legion, but he has experience at the MLS level. Greenspan flubbed the kick. He gets a second chance at it, and the Hounds get a throw. 3 teams he managed, including DC United full-time from 07 to 09. United had some success when Sohn was in charge, the 53-year-old from Chicago. There's a coming cross from Brett off the body of a Legion defender, and a deep throw coming up. And of course, Bob Lilly in his second season in Pittsburgh, his Hounds are 12-2-11 under his guidance here at Highmark Stadium. The most picturesque settings in all of pro soccer. Dos Santos couldn't control that one, and right back over to Legion.
Yeah, I'd like to have that one back again. I think he was rushing. He was going before he got control of the ball.
So Pittsburgh playing mostly in the attacking half in the opening 4.5 minutes. That's what they want. They absorbed too much pressure for Bob Lilly's liking last week against Red Bulls. Red Bulls can do that to you. They play quick and they have a lot of skill. But they want to be stronger on the ball here to start as James rises against Hollinger-Jansen. Couldn't win it. But here's Noah Frankie, 3rd start in a row, sends it skyward. Kerr heads it away. Hounds have to chase here. They put the press on, and it's given away to Kevin Kerr. Kerr trying to step by Mikey Lopez. Flicks it out wide to Frankie, who's tripped up, and that'll be a foul, and maybe at least a talking to Mikey Lopez, who slid it hard. There goes referee Snyder, and it will just be a verbal warning, it appears.
Yeah, that was really late. I'm shocked he didn't get a yellow card there, and I'm sure he's getting a warning one more time. I mean, he'd already gone past him, and I'm going to get a look at it right now.
Frankie deceptively rounded that corner, and down he went.
Good situation for the Hounds right now. Greenspan in there.
Greenspan has a goal this year, so does Toby Adewale. Both center backs are in the box for Pittsburgh. Bernardo Forbes, who triggered 2 set-piece goals off corner kicks last week, he'll do the honors here. King Kenny with the right foot. A little much on this one, but Dos Santos fights for it. Hollinger-Jansen, active in this match so far, comes down with it for Birmingham, and it spins off his foot and out. Mertz pressing and forcing the turnover. Mertz, 5 points in 5 matches since he was inserted into the starting 11. He's hoping it's for good. Quick 1-2 and did not work out. Brett came back to the ball as James pounded it toward the end line.
Yeah, he wasn't on the same page as the other two, and thought about it, but it was too late by the ball as time was gone.
Reminder that Select is the official soccer ball of the United Soccer League and many of the top professional leagues around the world. Go to Select Sport America for special offers and a full product assortment. And Van Oekel sends the Select spinning toward our way. Toby Adewale, 3rd-year Hound, wins it. Dos Santos gives it along. Kerr unable to track it, but now Brett takes it from Dos Santos. Nico Brett, 3 goals in 3 matches. The layoff square to Mertz. Deflected cross comes in. Dos Santos.
And he tripped up again.
It's another close call that goes against the Hounds in the box, and Dos Santos is still down as Van Oekel throws it out to the far wing.
A little bit concerned with his referees not calling anything at the moment, and he got tripped again right there, which normally would be a penalty by most of the other referees we've had.
Right, we've seen a lot of penalty kicks compared to last year in the first half of the season for the Hounds, and Van Oekel was living on the edge.
Yeah, really. I mean, this is obvious.
I thought this one was more obvious than the first, and we'll take another look.
Definitely, because he took it and he pushed it.
Clipped him in the shin, and then a little push as well. Yeah, boy, I feel like to call that incidental contact,
dearie me,
that's a tough one for the Hounds to swallow.
And Bob's letting the 4th official know, obviously, but yeah, Dos Santos there, but kept on his feet. He could have really created something, and keep him making sure he didn't.
So the 29-year-old native of Cape Verde carries a healthy limp back with him. And no PK. The Hounds feel like they should have had 2. And you figure if you get 2 questionable ones, you're probably going to get one of them, but it hasn't played out that way in the opening minutes tonight.
Not at this one.
Van Oekel's direct kick. Pulled down by Mertz. And that's deflected by Brian Wright, the loanee from the New England Revolution of Major League Soccer. So James will throw it in quickly. Low to the feet of Kerr, but poked away by Kyle Fisher. So the Legion defend that well, and it's Prosper Kasim, 3 goals on the year. Slides it through to Lopez. Now far side. Hoffman making a run and flicks on the header, but it's wide to the left. Chandler Hoffman, the Birmingham native. He's the 3rd all-time leading scorer in USL history, 28 years old. And this year just 3 at 28 the last 2 seasons for the Real Monarchs. So he's a man to watch, number 9.
Yeah, definitely. He was a little bit unlucky there. He miscalculated this one because it was just going to be a flick to the far post, but he couldn't get enough on it to get it over the keeper.
Hounds win the ball in the midfield. Frankie, former Creighton Blue Jay, gives it back to Thomas Van Kiesel, who hasn't missed a minute yet this season. Kerr, dispossessed. And here's Kasim, 22-year-old from Ghana. Wide to Hoffman. He's trying to go back post, but can't get it there. Ryan James read it well. Here's a volley attempt from Lopez that squibs off his boot, and Kyle Morton has a touch.
If he'd have caught that one right, it's still a long, long way out. The goalkeeper should be able to react to something like that, but he didn't catch it at all.
Folks, you can go to ESPN.com, search Riverhounds or Birmingham Legion, get all your up-to-date information on coming matches, stats, standings in the USL Championship. Kerr called for the foul with Brett lurking nearby. Again, ESPN.com. 2nd year in a partnership with USL Championship that includes our broadcasts here on ESPN+. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Matt Geico along with the Hall of Famer Paul Child. Gene Klein remains on assignment. We'll get him back here to
someday
this continent at some point, yes. Here's the throw-in from Tyler Turner. Forbes wanted to run through. Kasim mishandled. Kerr will gladly take that.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Kevin there finally got a pass off, and he's been struggling a little bit with the touches right now. He's got to get himself back into this game, and sometimes that happens when you're a midfield player expecting to do a lot and things aren't quite going right for you in the beginning. You've got to turn that around real quick.
Pittsburgh working it. Now over to the far wing. Here's a ball from Adewale to the feet of Van Kiesel. He couldn't handle the spin. He was pressed by Brian Wright. Looked up and then lost the ball. Bob Lilly this week said, and I quote, "It's fun." You don't hear that from him a lot. He was having fun, he said this week, watching the team prepare. He feels like their habits are good. They've won 2 in a row. They're unbeaten in 3. He thinks they played 3 really solid matches in a row, counting the 2-2 draw against Ottawa here, which they had the 2-0 lead. A couple of weird circumstances allowed the Fury back into it, including a questionable PK and goalie gaff from Austin Pack. So they feel like they probably should be on a 3-game winner, but they're trying to make it 3 tonight at Awale. It's hard to argue with Lilly. It feels like this team has hit its stride since June started.
Oh, no, definitely, Matt. It's been good to watch and fun to broadcast.
Frankie, near a handball, but no. Play on. Kerr. Van Kiesel, line cross in, looking for Brett at the 6. Up in the atmosphere. Lopez can't quite clear it, but there's Van Oekel to come up with that loose ball with a little bit of help from a defender.
Yeah, I think the defender was just knocking it back to him, but got a good header back to the keeper. It was a wise decision there because he was pretty much surrounded by Riverhound players.
It was Daigo Kobayashi, the 36-year-old native of Japan, who made the defensive play.
Whoop.
Here comes Pittsburgh,
That's
and it's a good ball through. Dos Santos is going to have a crack. Inside the area, Steven Dos Santos, he scores!
Brilliant job.
Everybody moving the back of the box. Steven Dos Santos is scorching his 3rd goal in 3 matches, and it was Brett giving him the ball in a perfect position.
Yeah, these combinations really coming alive, Matt, and it's great to see, you know, and very similar to Brett's goal last week. Brett's was a lot further out, but very smart play there. Got a good touch on it. Keeper expecting a real hard shot and going down early. And Dos Santos just giving a little chip over the top of him.
Dos Santos has 4, and I mentioned 3 and 3, plus a couple of assists. Kind of eerie, actually. The two are laughing about it. They may be saying, yeah, that was just the reverse of last week, the opening goal. This one comes earlier in the match, too, crucially for the Hounds.
Lovely ball from Brett. And Dos Santos, good touch. faked that like he was going to really hit it and then just jinked it over the top of the keeper.
It really was like last week's goal in miniature, too. Brett's chip was from about, what, 20 yards out. This one was from about 6. But similarly deft, and you can see that's an experienced goal scorer. Here are the Hounds again, on their toes. Dos Santos split out wide for once. Steven Dos Santos feeling confident, cracks one, and it's rejected by Turner. Throw in for the Hounds.
I'm sure Bob Lou is really pleased with this, and we talked about it before we went on air regarding getting that early goal in the game and really putting the pressure on Birmingham. And it seems like that's what they've done, and going to continue high pressure.
Birmingham has had a hard time in the midfield. They've lost quite a bit of those 50-50, 60-40 balls, if you want to call them that. And the Hounds just seem to be the fresher team, no doubt, but they're also the more confident team right now. Birmingham hasn't won in league play since late April, and the Hounds trying to keep that streak alive. Frankie.
That's a long way.
A little too much adrenaline behind that one. It'll spin to a stop in play, though, and that forces Hollinger-Jansen to give it a ride. Going deep here. Right, ran right through Toby Adewale. Right, maybe with an opportunity. Squares it back, but covering there is Forbes. Forbes pushed from behind a little by Kasim, and so he got rid of it in time.
Yeah, this referee is calling none of these little shoves and trips and letting it play. As long as it's for both sides, there's no problem with it, because you need to get to know what the referee's tendencies are when you're playing.
By my count, just one foul apiece so far in the early going, to your point, in the opening 15 minutes. Dos Santos again wins the ball in the midfield.
Boy.
This time his touch betrays him.
It's just going where he wants it to when he doesn't mean it, which is nice when things go like that. Kerr's having the opposite at the moment, and it's fun to watch, actually, and I'm sure that Kerr's going to start getting into it and hopefully get some breaks on the ball too.
The Hounds in the middle of a crucial 3-match homestand. Chronologically speaking, the midpoint of the season is this weekend, but the Hounds have games in hand on a lot of teams in the East. And here's Mertz pulling it down. Another giveaway in the midfield by Birmingham. Kevin Kerr has a run at it. Here's his cross to the back post, slides all the way through. Can Frankie get around it? He will. Frankie is there. Pittsburgh bending balls through the 18. Brett cracking, and it bounces wide. No deflection called. I thought it was on first glance.
Yeah, I did too, but again, the referee is closer than we are, but again, I thought that was definitely hit somebody on the way out. But it's a goal kick.
Who are these Hounds? Last year was all about defense. This year, they're turning it up on the attack, and this is what they were trying to accomplish in the offseason with the signing of Dos Santos, a player who knows how to play under Lilly from the Rochester Rhinos days of a few years back.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's not like he's a one-dimensional player. You see him often putting in his defensive effort, putting in his shift.
Yeah, it's nice to see that too. It's great for players playing behind you when you're supposed to be a forward, but you're chasing back and winning balls and stealing them back as well.
So for Tom Sohn's team, it's a challenge right now, and they're looking at reevaluating everything at the off week, which is coming up for them. Dos Santos could not get it through. Hollinger-Jansen, who pulled it down with a foot.
Yeah, it was a nice idea there. Just couldn't get enough on it. Didn't have enough power, but it was a good thought.
Unforced error by the Legion. Not what they need at the moment. They're trying to find their way into this match. Kerr goes right over the top of Kasim and gets called for the foul.
Yeah. Kerr's asking him about the call in that and not calling the one on the Santos, and he's got a good point there.
And Kevin Kerr has the advantage of experience too. He's a player that has probably seen every referee in this league, so there's a relationship there. There's some credibility there is what I'm trying to say.
He knows how to talk to them is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah, you play a few years and you figure some things out. I think referees listen to veterans a little bit more. You could probably speak to that. As Brett will take this ball on the James win.
I had a real hard time with him, Matt, all the time. Yeah. I don't know why, but I just thought everything they did was wrong. So
Kasim, one of the bright spots for Legion this year. On the in cut.
Nice ball there, out wide.
Switch to play. Avila. 174 MLS appearances for Eric Avila, but can't get this cross through. Frankie intercepts.
Oh,
Thomas Vankiazil has a chance to send on Brett. It'll skitter through to the D and punted away by Van Oken.
I was wondering there with the keeper. He looked a little bit hesitant, didn't know what to do, and finally came out with a clearance.
Right, he can shoot from there, and he does.
Yeah.
Adewale blocked it with the number 2 on his back. Kasim, one of a couple natives of Ghana on this side. Now Hoffman, wide to Avila. Kobayashi. Morton snatches it. Kyle Morton looking confident coming off his line again. And I hate to keep beating the confidence drum, but you see it with Morton and you see it with this entire squad.
Yeah,
right now.
You definitely see they're really up, and they rely on each other, they work for each other, and that's what's really important in a good team.
This team was expecting to be in the top half of the table at least, if not top 2 or top 4. Currently, Hounds tied for 10th with Bethlehem Steel, which will be in here for a playoff rematch on July 4th. Hope you can join us at Highmark Stadium for the 7 o'clock tilt and watch the City of Pittsburgh fireworks after.
That's a
Mertz.
good ball. Aye.
Dos Santos, I'm not sure he didn't reach for it.
He took his eye off it for a split second there and was looking in front of him, and then looked back and it was already passed to him, and he just took his eye off it and lost it.
Mertz struck it with the outside of his boot, put a little slice on it, and maybe that fooled Dos Santos, I'm not sure, but he applauded the ball from Mertz.
Yeah, he knew he should have got it.
Lopez trying to get up into the play. Lopez kept it in. Vankiazil couldn't take it away. It's Avila running off a man. Lopez, Legion with some possession, some time in the attack third. Kobayashi right on. Morton makes the stop, his first of the match.
Got some power on that ball, and it was a good 35 yards out from goal, and you could see it dipping a little bit, but no problem really when you're that far away from the goalkeeper. There's plenty of time to react. Going to see it again here.
Daigo Kobayashi played for 2 different MLS teams, and there he is squaring one up. Vancouver, New England. Kerr running after a big collision at the edge of the attack third for the Hounds. You see Kyle Fisher down alongside Dos Santos, who takes his second significant knock of this match in the 21st minute.
Yeah, Dos Santos there. I mean, it was way after the ball had gone.
And I had my eye on the ball. I didn't quite see the nature of the collision, but, well, referee Snyder says Birmingham was the perpetrator, and it was Fisher on the
Here you go, we're
giving
going to
end.
have a look at it, Matt. Oh, yeah.
Fisher takes out the legs of
Yeah, I
Dos
don't know why he
Santos, I
went down,
suppose.
actually. He clipped his left leg as he went across him.
Well, here's an opportunity for Pittsburgh to make it 2 and take a stranglehold. Forbes.
And we know he can strike a ball, too.
Will he have a look? Gets it halfway through the wall. Kerr couldn't pick up the loose change successfully. And Kobayashi wide. Daigo Kobayashi. He had 300 worldwide appearances before he came to MLS in his 30s, so he's been playing for a while. There's a careless giveaway.
Oh, that's a bad
well,
ball, too.
The Hounds give it right back. Boy, Razek Cromwell just handed that one over to Dos Santos. Cromwell has had a couple of sketchy moments in the early going.
Yeah, really. That was a great opportunity for the Hounds, and then we gave it them right back. It was kind of like surprise for the Hounds getting the ball from the defender there.
Here is Cromwell, this time playing wide. And there's some squad rotation going on for Birmingham, so it might not be their top 11 out there today, with them just playing 2 days ago at Indy, falling 3-0. Shots were even, 12-12, but Birmingham was playing from behind, so they were turning it up late in that match. And Tom Stone was talking coming into this one about getting a lead, but, well, that did not work out. They'll have to play from behind yet again. It's been an unfortunate trend if you're a Legion fan. Kasim doubling back at the circle. Got it right through Dos Santos, disappointed himself. Now Kasim's going to try to catch Morton off his line. And, well, he had a thought that was valid. Morton was able to backtrack.
That was, he did very well there, and Morton was caught a little bit. A little bit more on that ball, that would have snuck over his head and in.
It must be the time of the year for keeper chips, because we saw, of course, Brett, and then I don't know if you saw the MLS highlights this week, but Wayne Rooney scored from his own side of the field for DC United.
I didn't. I missed that one.
That was, well, depending on your perspective, a wonder strike or a howler. Both sides have an argument. Of course, the keeper has to oblige in a situation like that, but it does take a lot of skill to convert that.
Yeah.
Mertz and now Kerr retracting, and Greenspan. Tommy V. Bunky is working on a 2-goal streak right now for the first time in his pro career. He's scored in back-to-back matches.
Hands kind of eased off a little bit right now, Matt. Knocking the ball around, keeping possession, which is not a bad idea. It's making this Birmingham team chase and work a little bit harder. And again, we're 1-0 up. And that's
now
a nice
the Hounds
ball.
are trying deep. Frankie on the run, trying to pull this one in from Forbes. And Frankie was run off and shielded successfully, as it turns out.
It's time for the DoubleTree by Hill Lucky Roll Cookie Giveaway.
That was Kobayashi yet again, manning that far flank at the moment. You're watching tonight's game on ESPN Plus. Join the millions of subscribers. Check it out, ESPN Plus. Search that on your search engine, and you'll be surprised what you can find there. A lot of soccer, not just in this country, but also abroad. ESPN Plus, where you can find it. And that's where you can find the Hounds and Kevin Kerr right now.
Great ball
Kerr
in.
near the corner, Mertz!
Yes!
He scored!
Oh, great ball in from Kerr. Bending away from the keeper, right in between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box. Nothing better than a player running onto that and just getting really some power on it. Keeper couldn't do anything about it now.
Get your dirty hands off his dream. Mertz plays hometown hero, and Pittsburgh has a 2 spot in the opening 25 at home.
No, that was nice to watch.
And how about Kevin Kerr? That puts Kevin on top by himself in the history of the club, his 26th league assist. Congratulations to Mr. Riverhound, and what a pinpoint ball. What a way to get that record.
No, perfect pass, and keeper had no chance with it, and Mertz just running right full blast into that. And whoever was marking him couldn't keep up with him, and that's where he got that free header.
Robbie Mertz make it 7 points in his last 6 appearances. He tacks on another goal. The former Michigan Wolverine, the native of Upper St. Clair, just in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. About 5 miles from Highmark Stadium. He spent many an evening watching the Hounds here. That tells you, well, I mean, how young he is, first of all, because the stadium is not that old, but he has childhood memories of being here in the stands. And now he's got one on the board at home for the first time.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it, Matt? You know, kids coming to the game. When I was a kid, the same thing. And, you know, they're just, it's great to see them lighting up the scoring, too.
Another 50-50 call goes against the Hounds there. Frankie was sent down to the pitch, tripped up, it appeared. But play continues. Kobayashi strips it from Forbes as he spun around. Kobayashi to Kasim. Can Birmingham get one back? Not quite the ball that Kasim needed, though, to find Wright cutting across the top of the 18. So it's Dos Santos and Mertz in the first half. The Hounds putting on the Reds offensively. Nico Brett cuts back. Brett bumped into by Lopez. Here comes James's cross, but Van Oekel has it measured.
Yeah, Brett could have given him a little bit more on that ball, and he could have got a separation there from the defenders. And he hit one down here that's laying down in the corner here.
It's Lopez, and here's the announcement, by the way. Kevin Kerr, a deserving player if there ever was one, and having a resurgent season. That's now 4 goals and 2 helpers for Kerr, the 30-year-old Scotsman who's been a part of so many big moments in the Highmark Stadium era. He's played every year that Pittsburgh has made this stadium home.
No, he's a fantastic player, works hard, great guy as well, which even makes it even better. Great fan favorite, and it's good to see him get that finally the all-time record, and I'm sure he's going to continue on tonight and hopefully get a couple more assists.
All right, so recapping, Dos Santos from Brett, Mertz from Kerr in the opening 25. Now Mikey Lopez getting tended to, and you see Birmingham getting the subs limbered up early. Thompson can't be happy with what he sees at the moment. And you mentioned marking issues there on that cross from Kerr. Mertz really had a chance to line it up.
Yeah.
He wasn't touched until after he completed the play, if you will. Lopez is going to walk over to the Birmingham bench, accompanied by Maggie Campanero, the athletic trainer for the Legion.
Yeah, I think he's going to go back on. It doesn't look like he's holding his leg, but like he's got a hamstring or something. But looks like he's going to go back on, waiting for a chance for the referee to call him back on.
Well, the Hounds are trying to stay in the playoff zone right now, and it feels weird for a team that's only lost twice all year, but all those draws have held them back in the standings. But now they appear to be pushing that accelerator down to the floor, as James will buy some time for his teammates to come back.
Yeah, there's no holding back now. Oh, there was a handball there and got away with it, but referee missed it, I think.
Dos Santos, he thought the Hounds had the header. Now he backs off with Femi Hollinger-Jansen ripping the ball away from his grasp. And you wonder about frustration. I realize we're only a half an hour in, but it has been a rough 2 months for Birmingham Legion. And expansion or not, Paul, you don't expect to go 10, maybe 11 games without a win.
No, that's quite a few, and as soon as you get scored on so early in a game as well, Matt, it's kind of like turns up the pressure, and you know, everybody's feeling it. They start making rush decisions and making passes which they don't normally do, and give opportunities to the other team. So that's really what happens when you haven't got a win under your belt for quite a while.
Brett was clipped. And the Hounds also have to think about Thursday when they host Bethlehem, so it's a short week.
Yep.
Their first short week of the season in USL play. They had a couple Open Cup matches. Brett couldn't chest that one down. He actually backed off on the driven ball from Thomas Funky Azil in his own half. Van Okel on it. So the Hounds taking flight. I'd love to see you down here at Highmark Stadium. Go to riverhounds.com for ticket information. You might want to act quickly with the way the team is playing and with the traditional big crowd for the 4th of July expected.
Oh yeah, usually this place is packed. We're right down on the Three Rivers, and that's where the fireworks are all let off, and one of the biggest displays in the country. So a lot of people come watch the game, sit out on blankets on the field afterwards and watch the fireworks, because it's not worth trying to get out of here. We know that for sure, man.
Mertz cutting. Lead ball for Dos Santos. He'll get to it near the corner of the box. Dos Santos there against Cromwell, working 1v1, then decides to lay it on back. Funky Azil from Mertz. Probably Mertz all over the pitch right now, and he's got to be boosted by a huge burst of energy. Right in again for a chance by James. Over the crossbar it goes. Boy, Pittsburgh continues to attack.
That was a great ball in there. James was maybe a split second too late, and I thought he was going to get on the end of it because he was really going for it. Here we're going to see it again. It's an in-swinger. Just couldn't get over it.
I thought for a moment it might have been deflected, but no, he got a clean forehead to it. He just couldn't angle it properly.
No. And he had a player on his back as well he was carrying.
It always makes it more difficult, but as you know, as a former attacker, Paul, that's all part of the job, right, when you're trying to get it done. At the moment of truth, so Legion just trying to find anything, maybe just string a few passes together. They're one of the poorest passing percentage teams in the league, but so are the Hounds early on, so not necessarily the most indicative stats sometimes, depending on your style of play. Mertz will take this on the overlapping run. Mertz settles into the corner. James stumbled, but got back up. He's going that way right now for the Hounds.
Yeah, he's got to replace his divots there.
Kerr's switch. A little bit of a soggy artificial surface right now. Patient joining us late. What a run here for Bucky Azil down to a knee.
That's a trip.
Boy, I thought that was a foul easily outside the area.
Dearie me, this referee saw that and he called one back on the other side of the field about 5 minutes ago, a delayed call, and he should have done the same thing right there.
That's what I thought we were going to see happen. It was actually Frankie, pardon me, not Bucky Azil.
Yeah,
but Frankie known for those runs where he plants the boot and cuts inside.
Sure.
Did it again.
And that,
should have earned a foul by all means.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's what's hard when you inconsistency with the referee. Sometimes you never know what he's going to call.
Lopez is back in the action. Couldn't get it by Mertz, who subconsciously or unconsciously blocked that, the trailing leg.
Just a reaction that he knew he was going that way. He just threw his leg out there and got a hold of it.
As you see here tonight, it's been about both ends of the pitch for the Hounds, and it's almost like the attack is defending for them now because they've had so much of the ball. They've put teams on their heels.
Yeah.
You don't have to work on defending as much. You have to still be on your details, but you're not burning as much energy in your own third. Here's one over the top. And tapped away, and is that the first corner for the Legion? It is. Fine ball there to Eric Avila, and then Bucky Azil could not get around.
Yeah, he didn't quite get the touch he wanted there. He was trying to pull it back, and it didn't work out for him. But here's Birmingham's opportunity now. We've got to be real strong here in defense, the Hounds, and I'm sure Birmingham looking for this opportunity to get back on the board.
It was the Hounds who converted 2 corner kicks into goals last week. Birmingham trying to at least get one. Kobayashi plants the foot and drives it. Good one. Morton punches, headed over by Cromwell.
Yeah. And Morton was obstructed there really badly, and he's asking the referee about it because he never called a free kick, and I'm sure he wouldn't have been so nice to the referee if that had gone in the net.
Well, Paul, we were talking about your playing days. We have a little surprise for you on the broadcast here tonight. A little trip down memory lane, if I may say so. I'm trying to work that in here as soon as we can, but you played some indoor soccer here in town. Found this one on the internet. Thank you, Twitter, by the way. Pittsburgh Stingers. We know from your days with the Spirit in the 80s, Stingers, you actually managed the club.
Yeah, I was the coach of the team for a couple of seasons, and we played in the summertime indoor in the Continental Indoor Soccer League.
Yes, at the old Civic Arena, right?
Yes, correct. And actually, I wore that uniform because they were trying to figure out what kind of uniform we were going to use.
I see it as right battles here. I was wondering why, as the manager, were you in a player's kit?
Yeah.
Anyway, Morton, two-handed punch. And we'll get back to that story in a moment. Frankie. Yeah, a little surprise for you.
Boy, I've never seen that picture, I don't think. That's wild, but...
I forget who exactly tweeted that to me this week, but I said we have to get that on the broadcast. And we did, thanks to Paul Beam at the Vista headquarters. See, we're full of some variety.
That's really nice. I appreciate that, Matt. But what I was doing was figuring out what uniforms to use, and they were called the Stingers. It made sense to have a bumblebee kind of outfit and the socks to match and everything. So I had a bit of a hand in that. I suggested it a couple of times, and they said, okay, we'll put it on and we'll see what it looks like.
Well, look what the Hounds are wearing tonight, so it all fits.
Exactly, it's real close.
And for a while, the Hounds had more of a blue-based uniform. They had some red for a while too, so now Pittsburgh falling in line with the other pro teams in town with the black and the gold, and they're the only city with this many pro teams that has them all configured with the same primary colors.
Makes sense when the city's black and gold, and you know, we're all down here, the Pirates, the Steelers, and you know, the Penguins. I mean, we're all in the city as well.
Correct, yeah, all four facilities, pardon me, are what, a couple of miles apart on aggregate?
Across the bridge, and you're there to all of them, you know. We've gone off the game a little bit.
We have, yes. I don't know if the viewers have noticed. It's 2-0 Hounds, and Pittsburgh scoring twice in the opening 25. And trying to extend this win streak to 3, extend the unbeaten streak to 4. It's hard to find anything to really nitpick right now in the Hounds game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think Birmingham just trying to get a few combinations together and some touches without losing the ball. Referee giving a free kick against the Hounds there. And probably asking the referee about it and having a conversation with him, actually.
Well, the fouls are 5-4 in favor of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh with more, I shouldn't say in favor.
Yeah, really.
So that's the number. Always good to have the facts there, but it does feel like in some crucial areas for the Hounds, they haven't gotten the calls, despite being up 2-0, and there's a tackle. And
no call again, you know, it's like...
Another questionable one.
Yeah, what's going on here with this official?
Brett's going to try to run down this aerial from Kerr. Nico Brett, look at him working his way, fighting off a hand check and maybe a pull of the jersey too. Goodness. Brett did all he could there to yank himself free, but could not get free. That was Kyle Fisher.
Yeah, he was unlucky
Montreal
there.
Impact defender.
Just too many players, actually. 3 of them around him, and he did well with the first 2. Couldn't get past that 3rd one, but
Frankie to Kerr.
Here's a good ball coming across now.
Same spot where Kerr just set up Mertz. Right back in, and a goal! Oh my goodness, it's 3-0. The Hounds are putting the hammer down, and guess who on the back door? It's Mertz again.
And another assist to Kevin Kerr. And I just mentioned it just before he crossed it. Here's another good cross coming. And Mertz is just tuned in with Kerr at the moment. And it's like, send them over and I'm going to get to them. And that's what he did right there. What a great finish.
40th minute strike from Robbie Mertz, who has his first multi-goal game as a professional. Wow, what a night for him. And well, now Kevin Kerr has blown past the record. He's got it all to himself by 2. And Mertz with the volley finish sliding through and taking advantage of that wet turf, maybe.
Yeah. And hitting it with the outside of his right foot. I mean, normally you'd use your left foot in that position, but obviously he favors his right more, and it works for you when you work on it. So, great finish. Got to be feeling great for Kerr and Mertz right now.
For the Hounds now, how about 11 goals in their last 5 halves? We're not even through the 3rd match, not even to halftime in the 3rd match of this stretch. A prodigious offense. They're going to force me to go to the media guide at halftime to see when's the last time they had 11 in 3 matches. And there's still plenty of time left. Plenty of paper left on the scorecard, if you will. Kerr bends down, and 2 beauty assists from Kerr. He's playing setup man tonight. When I think of Kevin Kerr, I'll think of balls like that when his career's over with. That's exactly the type of play that he's made so often. He is the playmaker. He can finish, don't get me wrong, but when he's going well, he's almost even in goals and assists.
It makes it look simple, doesn't it? You know, and I think people have to realize, you know, he's looking up, getting ready to cross the ball, and he's got a perfect bend on it coming away from the keeper, so the keeper can't come out and do anything about it, you know, and it's a great asset for the Riverhounds.
I think back to a couple of weeks ago, I was watching a Hounds practice, and Bob Lilly was talking about get those balls to the 6. He felt like his attackers weren't crossing it deep enough to force the keeper to make a decision. And well, now they're doing it. Now they're putting it into those spots behind the back line in front of the keeper. They're finding those channels. Forbes doggedly pursuing the ball here, but Birmingham able to nicely at least work that one out to the midfield. But here's going to be Awale. Corkscrewing through and then sending that one into the stands.
I thought he was kind of forced into that kick because of the opposing tackle. Right, I think it was.
You just saw on your screen Conno Smith, the assistant coach for Birmingham Legion, formerly an assistant for the National Women's Soccer League's Orlando franchise. But he was up and well, gesticulating, gesturing to where players should be. And it seems like Tom Sohn is letting him give it to the boys a little bit here. Hear a different voice. End of a stretch of 4 matches out of 5 on the road for Legion. And the 1 match at home they drew against Hartford Athletic. So they couldn't even take advantage of the one time they were in Sweet Home, Alabama. Turner, Greenspan leads this team in clears, gets another one here, but Kobayashi sent it right back into the mix. Funky Azil put the instep to it to at least force it back out to the edge of the midfield.
Good job by the Hounds. They're forcing Birmingham back all the time. They can't go forward. Everything, they're closing the players down and they're making them force the ball back into their own half again. And you can see they're having a tough time getting into the offensive third of the Hounds.
Shots are even, 6-all, if you can believe that, but Pittsburgh has had the lion's share of the quality chances, probably all of them, really, when you think about it. Maybe a couple of half opportunities for Birmingham, but that's been about it.
Yep, there's a mistake right
and
there.
Another give up from Turner. And the Hounds come 3 strong into the attacking half.
And here goes Kevin Kerr down the
Brett,
left.
he's going to have a look at this one. Well, he was trying for his 4th in 4 matches. You're right, Kerr was making that run. And Kevin looks up. Brett knows that he missed his man.
I know what I would say to Brett after that, but and I think Kevin was too. You know, just ran 50 yards, and you take a shot like that. If it would have been a goal, I would have forgot about it. But give me a little ball right the way through. I've just made this ginormous run down the field.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It's 3-0 Hounds before the half. This Pittsburgh team is hot as anybody in USL Championship right now.
Yeah, they definitely are. It's good to see.
Turner and Kobayashi, maybe some of those, I want to call them bad breaks, I want to call them close calls earlier in this season. We're starting to go the other way, and well, Pittsburgh has had, they hope this will be a 3rd consecutive game where they can ease up on the throttle in the second half. It's still a lot of match to go. And Birmingham can change this game with 1 goal. And the players know that. Eric Avila pulling all the way back. The former under-17, under-20 national team player, Eric Avila, Californian. This Birmingham team has some talent, just hasn't come together as a team this year.
No.
And well, there's another poorly designed look from Turner as he coughs it up once more.
Oh.
And James is run through. Hounds will get that call from referee Snyder.
This referee is not going to give a yellow card, I don't think, tonight. It must be in the books for some reason. But this is about, I can't remember, probably about 6 or 7 deliberate fouls on players, and the referee not getting a grip of it in that respect.
Pittsburgh has converted on 3 of 7 tonight. They came into tonight's match as the 2nd best team in terms of shooting percentage, if you will, in the USL. So they already were pretty good at 21%, and they may move into 1st place here. They're cashing in over and over again. Greenspan, former Navy man.
Yeah, 2 extra minutes, Matt, that's all that they're given. So Hans really kind of taking the foot off the pedal right here and knocking it around.
They want to guide this one and cradle it into the half. Forbes makes the smart play to Mertz ahead of Mertz, so Kobayashi couldn't head it off. Kerr, maybe one last chance. Brett, can he get there? No. Van Oekel pouncing.
Yeah, Brett wasn't going to go in the air with Oekel, I don't think. He was just saw him coming out and just couldn't get close enough to that ball.
Matt Van Oekel has pulled off the American soccer hat trick. He's played for MLS, NASL, and USL now. Adewale looks over his shoulder. And there is Canardo. Canardo and Nico Brett, a couple of Jamaicans, didn't make the Gold Cup roster, but they'll be watching their friends and countrymen play for a Gold Cup later this week. Jordan Dover, speaking of Gold Cup, he's back from his 3-match run of duty. Brett on
nice
the run.
touch.
Can he pull it down?
Oh.
He's bumped. No. And again, no call for Brett. He's got to be wondering, what did I do to this guy? And Thomas Snyder tonight, but
if I was him, I'd go up and ask him at halftime and say, excuse me, did I do something wrong the first half? And you haven't given me 1 call yet.
It's amazing with the Hounds up 3-0. It could probably be 4 or 5 with some calls going their way. Deep ball here. Greenspan helps out his buddy Noah Frankie. And we're getting close to that double whistle for the half, and there it is from Snyder. And a hearty hand from the home partisans at Highmark. Paul, 3-0, and like I said earlier, tough to nitpick too much. Pittsburgh just too much for Birmingham in the first 45.
Definitely, and came out on fire, Matt, and I'm sure that's exactly what we talked about before the start of the game. Bob wants his team to come out and get on the board early, and when they do, it's like full throttle. They just keep on coming at you, and especially against the team that haven't won in the last 5 or 6 games. So you got to do that kind of thing. You know, you feel bad for Birmingham, but there again, it's the game, and they would do it to you if it was the other way around.
Bob really loves the way his Hounds are practicing. He's got to love the way they are playing at the moment. They're putting together some excellent soccer, some of the best soccer we've seen in the Highmark Stadium era over the past 3 matches or so. A couple for the hometown kid, Robbie Mertz, 1 for Dos Santos, 2 assists for Kevin Kerr. We'll be back for the halftime show on ESPN Plus after this short timeout. Stay with us.
Welcome to Moe's! At Moe's, we've always been real Southwest. And we're proud of it. It's in our name after all. And we've always been real people, using real Southwest flavors, making real Southwest eats. And we've always built everything right on the line, fresh, just for you. Real, fresh Southwest. Welcome to Moe's. Try Moe's new Moho chicken, made with all-natural chicken breast and a refreshing citrus sauce.
All right, that's enough, you two. Don't paint your brother. No, you can't eat the clay. What can I say? Moms just know. I'm Christine Sorensen, and as a mom, I know parents know a lot. But for the few things we don't know, there's Kidsburg, your go-to resource for all the great things in our area for kids and families. Everything from kid-friendly events, creative learning, and help for parents. It's every Wednesday on KDKA TV, emailed to your inbox and online at kidsburg.org.
Okay, we hear you. Due to popular demand, #1 Cochran Nissan's 3-store supergroup just added store #4.
Introducing #1 Cochran Nissan Cranberry and grand opening offers at all 4 stores. Lease the all-new Altima from just $209 a month or 0 APR for 3 years plus $2,000 customer cash and $1,000 extra for trades at #1 Cochran Nissan now.
You don't want to miss the action at Highmark Stadium Saturday, July 13th, when the Tampa Bay Rowdies come to town for a 7 p.m. match. It's our Hall of Fame induction with a special Legends game at noon. See some of your favorite Riverhounds players from years gone by. Gates open at 5:30, dollar beers until kickoff. The first 1,000 fans will receive a free rally towel courtesy of Image 360. Find out more at riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
Played over 40 games. We've got it down.
These guys have cleared in Pittsburgh. Maybe they have for the Hounds in the context of the season. They're on the trot right now, up 3-0 against expansion Birmingham Legion FC. I'm Matt Geico alongside Paul Child, and Pittsburgh keeps the throttle down here on this Saturday night. But let's turn back the clock and look around the USL with a couple of Eastern Conference matches on a Friday night, starting with another expansion side in Loudoun United FC playing against Atlanta United 2, who the Hounds just trounced 5-0. Here's a great move from Loudoun's Christian Sorto. How about that goal, Paul?
Yeah,
cutting inside. How many touches is that?
He's wheeling and dealing there, and the goalkeeper just stood there and went, well, is anybody going to challenge this guy?
I guess not. Loudoun playing at home here, and here's another good turn from Loudoun and sending Sorto in. This one much easier, but he polishes it off nonetheless for a 2-0 lead.
Well-placed ball here, well hit, hard and low. Keeper really couldn't get himself together to get that one at all.
So a brace for Sorto. Loudoun moves ahead of Birmingham, in fact, in the standings with that victory last night. So they're the top expansion club right now in the Eastern Conference. And there's another one in Hartford Athletic taking on the next opponent for Pittsburgh, Birmingham Steel. Hartford in the green in this highlight, of course. And off the quick restart, Bethlehem pulls one off here. The man known simply as Ferris breaks away.
Really, he did really well with that ball and got a great touch on it, and the defender couldn't even put any pressure on him to knock him off the ball, and he just slotted that one easily.
We know what Ferris can do, and well, we're going to see him again now, sprinting ahead once more. Hartford chasing him. This time he plays set-up man, and well, eventually Bethlehem pumps in the second goal.
Yeah, they really got a break there. They got 2 assists from the defenders, knocking it off each other, and then the player just beating the keeper and putting it away.
Difficulties lately for Hartford. They've gotten some points, but at least out of the basement for them. But this one did not go well for them last night. One last goal for Bethlehem before the final whistle. Walter Cortez.
Boy, that the keeper shouldn't be beat on that near post that way either. Matt, you know, right across his whole body. And I think he's sitting there thinking about it and thinking, boy, I should have got that one and got an arm out. Usually you don't want to be beating the near post, and he was more worried about the near post, and the guy went to the far post.
So Bethlehem, well, at least briefly moved into a 10th place tie with the Hounds. That 10th place signifies the last playoff spot, if you're thinking about that, but Pittsburgh looks like they're going to move on ahead. Okay, big news in Raleigh in the Research Triangle. How about a 20,000-seat open-air stadium proposed by North Carolina FC? Paul, they're pushing down there. This is a club that's in its second season and really trying to elevate itself.
Yeah, definitely, and it's, you know, Carolina, they've got some good teams really close to them around there, you know, and great to see another new stadium being thought of, and hopefully going to get a 20,000-seat stadium, and who knows, looking probably to MLS somewhere down the line.
Possibly so. Ambition there. Speaking of ambition, well, Tampa Bay tied for first. They made some moves, though. Antoine Hoppeneau to Lose City for Lucky Mkasana. We know him from Harrisburg City, in fact, the last couple of years. And they also sent Brandon Allen out to Memphis 901. So the Rowdies kind of tooling around with their attacking group there.
Yeah, well, they don't seem to have any problems at the moment because
really.
they're at the top of the league and doing really well. And obviously he's looking to fine-tune the team and bring some better players in to help.
And ESPN3 has your Wednesday night game of the week, 11 Eastern time, if you're a night owl. Sacramento hosting that one. Okay, well, we'll be right back for more from Highmark as the kiddos get after it here on the pitch at the half. Matt Geiger with Paul Child.
For almost 2 decades, San Diego has been waiting for a professional soccer club it can call its own. Now led by leading soccer executive and co-founder of Sacramento Republic FC, Warren Smith, and legendary United States men's national team player Landon Donovan, its club has arrived. The USL Championship is coming to the University of San Diego's Torero Stadium, bringing all the excitement of the fastest growing league in North America to one of the top soccer markets in the United States.
All right, gentlemen. I don't think we need to kind of review what this game means, but it is a really important opportunity for us. I think it's an important opportunity for you guys in a lot of ways. Goal is to advance in the U.S. Open Cup by beating Cincinnati. It is that simple. Any questions? Let's go, gentlemen. Let's go. It's more than just the two clubs. There's a bit of an angst between the cities, quite frankly. You can feel it.
There's just so much on the line. We're in the third year now of seeing FC Cincinnati with, you know, a lot of big moments that have happened and history built up.
Last year we came here twice and we won both games. Dealing with the crowd, the pressure, I think is one advantage that we'll have as we've dealt with it.
Fourth round of the 2019 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, the site of the renewal of one of the great budding rivalries in U.S. soccer, FC Cincinnati. Now the big dog from Major League Soccer hosting Louisville City FC, a rainy Nippert Stadium, the perfect place, Lorena, to renew the River City rivalry. Sam Warner, the beauty.
Jamal Johnson, he only knows bangers.
Look at Taylor moving up.
And Taylor with a beautiful strike. Are you kidding? Jamal Johnson from distance. Yes. Oh, yes.
A great save from C.J. Cochran.
Back again as the sun sets over the Golden Triangle of Pittsburgh, PA. We're here on the south side as Pittsburgh takes on a city that was once called the Pittsburgh of the South and Birmingham Legion. These two cities have quite a bit in common, in fact, and it goes well beyond that. I'm Matt Geiger with Paul Child. We'll have time for more on that in the second half, but here's your scoreboard. Looking around the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship, Indy 11, they keep going too. That is a squad that was reloaded and ready to go this year. They've won 5 in a row. with a win and a Rowdies, well, tie or loss, they would be alone in first place.
Yeah, they're really putting up some pressure in the league here and doing really, really well. Tough team to play against in Indy as well, as we know. And even on the road, they're doing really well too. So Tampa Bay's got somebody right on their heels here.
Indy, one of only 2 teams to beat the Hounds this year. And, well, one was Tampa, one was Indy. So, hey, that speaks well for the Hounds resume, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It really does. It shows that we have some quality here, and they're going to have a battle when they ever play against us.
Well, if results hold right now, then the Hounds would bump ahead of St. Louis. That'd be the first time they're above 10th all season long, basically, because Pittsburgh started with that loss at Tampa. So it's been a long climb, but here they are, and again, that important number, if I could circle it with my telestrator, I would, at 14 in the games played. Even after tonight, they're still not even halfway through the season.
And the games in hand too, Matt. Yeah. I mean, compared to the other teams, we've still got 2 games in hands pretty much over the, or 3 games in hand over some of the teams as well.
And goal differential plus 11, that's where you can really see the quality of a side.
Yep.
How they outscore teams, how they get to where they get to in the table. All right, one final break here at halftime. We'll come back with stats and highlights and kick it into gear again as the Hounds try to lock down a 3rd consecutive victory against Birmingham.
Pleasant Valley Golf Club, nestled in the Laurel Highlands of southwestern Pennsylvania, is now open to the public. Enjoy 18 holes of championship golf with a new island green and fully stocked pro shop. Our clubhouse features a large ballroom for weddings or private parties, 2 restaurants serving delicious food, a sports bar, 2 state-of-the-art golf simulators, and an outdoor patio with gas fire pit and picturesque view. Pleasant Valley Golf Club, now open to the public. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds will be offering their soccer camps this summer with a refreshed focus and new curriculum. The summer camp program is for players aged 4 to 13 and led by RDA coaches with appearances by professional players throughout the week. Each participant will receive a ball, a Riverhounds SC summer soccer t-shirt, and a ticket for the Riverhounds SC game versus Loudoun United FC Friday, August 23rd. Contact the Academy office at 412-325-7238 or register online at riverhounds.com. You don't want to miss the action at Highmark Stadium Saturday, July 13th when the Tampa Bay Rowdies come to town for a 7 p.m. match. It's our Hall of Fame induction with a special Legends game at noon. See some of your favorite Riverhounds players from years gone by. Gates open at 5:30, $1 beers until kickoff. The first 1,000 fans will receive a free rally towel courtesy of Image 360. Find out more at riverhounds.com or call 412-865-GOAL.
I should have been a cowboy. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour 2019. Red Solo Cup. Friday, September 27th, 7:30 at Highmark Stadium. With special guests Clay Walker and Gabby Barrett. Toby Keith. Whiskey for my man. On sale now with Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Brusky Entertainment. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour.
Plus, big reminders on all of our matches. Go to ESPN.com now.
Maybe a landmark victory here at Highmark Stadium. We'll see, and I'll explain a little bit later. The Hounds are pushing the envelope on most goals scored in 3 games in franchise history. Here's how they got there here tonight. And an early one for once for Pittsburgh to get out in front. Here's a quick chance, though. Well, looking at that again, that's probably the most blatant of the missed calls in the box. But there were 2 in that first half.
One, yeah.
Van Oekel, the keeper, both times guilty, maybe more guilty on Brett than Dos Santos.
And the referee calling nothing as well. That's a great ball from Nico Brett. Through ball to DeSantos, and what a great little chip over the top of the keeper. Catching him coming out and expecting a real rocket shot, but then he goes down early and he flicks the ball over the top of him. Great composure.
Well, yeah, Van Oekel had to come out because otherwise he would have been a sitting duck there, and Dos Santos would have cracked one. Yeah, just really, really scintillating stuff from Brett to set him up. And here is the Kerr and Mertz show, Act 1.
What a nice bending ball away from the keeper inside the penalty spot in the 6-yard box where a player can come onto it. And you're going to see he's just going to go full speed ahead. And again, right there again, right between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box. And Mertz just timing his run, really on the same page with Kerr at the moment.
And you see a disagreement there. Femi Hollinger-Jansen saying, hey, I thought I had the outside guy. I thought you had the inside guy. Well, that's what happens when players run free in the 18. Okay, 7 shots to 6. Again, for Legion, it was 12-12 against Indy the other night. But the chances were heavily in favor of Indy. It's the same script here tonight. Shots even, but Pittsburgh has had some glorious looks, and they've taken care of it despite actually being on the short side of possession just slightly.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, really. And the shots on goal as well. I think Legion had some shots on goal, but they've been really long-range shots, and keeper having time to react to them easily.
Well, possession's an interesting thing in soccer because teams that trail often have a lot more of the ball in the second half because they're trying to push it, and the team that's leading is maybe bunkering in and trying to defend. So I try not to read too much into that. The Hounds have actually lost the possession battle in 6 straight matches. So,
yeah.
Again, take those numbers with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it means nothing.
Yeah, I think shots and shots on goal are a pretty good descriptor of how a team is playing, better so than actual literal possession time.
It's who puts it in the net the most.
Well, yeah, that's the most important stat. But if you're looking
Exactly.
for a second most important stat, I think it is shot volume, just getting look after look, and eventually you hope they're going to go in. Kevin Kerr looking for a hat trick of assists as we start the second half. Kerr bending it, Mertz making another run. It was over the top of Dos Santos and past Mertz.
I think he was looking for Mertz too, because he really looked up and he looked across, and they've got this I don't know, connection going on that they're looking for each other, and he just didn't quite get it further enough away from the goal at that time.
Okay, I teased it, so I'll bring it up here. 11 goals in 3 matches. It's the most in the Highmark Stadium era. Previous best since 2013 for this club, since its reboot coming to the south side, was 10 in the first season, in fact, at Highmark. And that was the year that Jose Angulo and Matt Dahlman was the assist leader in the league. So
yes, he was.
That was a really high-scoring Hounds outfit. By the way, some subs here. You'll see him scrolling on your screen. Mathieu Laurent is in for Hollinger-Jansen, who had a tough first half on the back line. Laurent, a slightly more experienced player, at least in terms of this season. He's played more for them. So that's one change. Here's another Daniel Johnson handling here. Johnson, 23-year-old, who moved over to England at a young age. Played at the West Ham Academy.
Huh.
Was a first-round pick of the Chicago Fire a couple of years ago. Johnson's one of their top playmakers. He's into the match.
That's a nice little steal there by Mertz. That's a good.
Frankie's cross, too much on it.
Yeah.
Mikey Lopez is out, so Johnson in for Lopez. Defensive substitution, an attacking substitution. Nothing changing for the Hounds, as you would imagine, although if it continues like this, maybe at the hour mark, Bob Lilly starts to think about resting some legs for Independence Day.
No, definitely will, Matt. I'm sure that as long as the Birmingham don't get on the score sheet, I think Bob will really try and get some players in there to give them some time and get some experience and save some legs for Thursday.
Header by Kerr gives it right back to Birmingham. So to finish my tease, 2004 was the last time the Hounds had more than 10 goals in 3 straight matches, 3 consecutive matches. Ricardo Iribarren was the coach. The Hounds played at Moon Area High School Stadium. They finished first in the Atlantic of the USL Pro Soccer League. They finished 17-2-1 that year. Saeed Ali was all-league first team. And the Hounds had 13 in 3 matches that year against the Cleveland Internationals, pardon me, the Westchester Flames and the Western Mass Pioneers. 3 teams that are long gone by now.
Yep.
So that puts it in perspective in the history books here. Thanks to Tony Picardi for putting together this wonderful media guide, by the way.
Yeah, really.
Consolidating 2 decades of records. I know he had to dig through some box scores. Kevin Kerr, he was an inch away from pulling that one down.
I think his eyes got really big there and thought he was in a chance where he was going to get a shot on goal, and couldn't quite catch that ball. But you can see we're still starting to press again right away, 3 minutes into the second half. And you got to do that. We don't take the foot off the gas at all, Matt. You got to just keep on going and going, and you got to keep the score going and
keep the rhythm going. Right?
Exactly.
You're not going to have that much rest before the next game, but you also you don't want to get sloppy.
No.
In the second half, Johnson flags it down. Johnson against Mertz, who presses him inside, and there's the closing burst from Nico Brett. to at least set up the throw-in. Wonder if we'll see Joe Holland, the former Hound, on the pitch tonight. He played for Pittsburgh last year, more of a bit player. Cross coming in from Laurent, and Morton spilled it, and what a saving block from Greenspan. He took it right in the face from Hoffman, I think. Greenspan is doubled over. That one stung, but he saved a goal.
Yeah,
Morton mishandled it, and well, Kyle Morton owes Greenspan a steak and a beer after this.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know whether yeah, that was really poorly handled that time. And before this, he's been really coming out and just picking those like cherries from a tree, and was really off the mark early in the second half. So hopefully that'll make him wake up.
It'll do something to your consciousness, I know that much. And Greenspan was able to smile. The crowd let out a sympathy ooh when they saw the replay here on the big board across the way. Joe Greenspan will chalk that up as a block, not a clear. He doesn't have too many of the former compared to the latter. And here is Joe, looking no worse for the wear. Look at this one on to Brett, but he's offside.
Yeah, Brett should have seen there and just stepped back a yard or two before that ball was struck and could have got something out of that.
You can view the ESPN Plus Game of the Week in the USL Championship. 11 p.m. Wednesday, Sacramento hosting Fresno. Fresno, one of the newcomers to the league. Sacramento, one of the old guard, along with the Hounds. Sacramento, one of the few old guard teams out west. It seems like if there are longer tenured ones, they're here in the East, whether they were in this league or came over from the North American Soccer League. But again, it's Sacramento and Fresno, 11 p.m. kick here in the Eastern time zone. 8 p.m. out there in the Pacific. Van Oekel, I wonder about him too. Does Tom Sohn go to the backup? Spangenberg is the backup keeper tonight. Trevor Spangenberg, he's played in 5 matches to Van Oekel's 11, or pardon me, 12 coming into tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure that he's going to get Birmingham first, you know, up to about the 60th minute. And mind you, he's used 3 subs already. Was he allowed?
Or was it 2 or 3?
I thought it was.
We have Johnson in as well as Laurent. I believe he still has 1 in his back pocket. So
yeah, I would be surprised if he used them all up. So
Kerr spinning and finding some room, as only Kevin Kerr can do, it seems.
There's a
Forbes, a chip ball to the post. Dos Santos making a run.
Yeah, he thought that was on the plate there, and that player just did enough to get up and flick it away.
Pittsburgh has 3 on the board for the 3rd consecutive match. And just the 4th time this year. They've come in bunches now lately. Bonchiazio turns around and says, come on, you got to call that.
Yeah.
And the referee Snyder did. That's the one thing I worry about when I see a lot of fouls not called in the first half. Players are going to start to get cynical, and tempers might pick up too. Brett slicing inside, ball comes loose, and Birmingham just stared at it for a while. Brett hands skyward, palms up.
I don't know about that one. It looked like Brett went down, but
I didn't think he was touched initially, but he seems to think so.
Obviously the linesman and the referee didn't think so, but we knew the other touches were real contact in the box in the first half.
So the best chance in this half has gone to Birmingham. Chandler Hoffman couldn't put another goal in the net. He's done that over his career. That's why he's here. The Birmingham, Alabama native Chandler Hoffman has just 3 so far this season for this offensively challenged expansion team. Should have had 4, he'll tell you that, but Greenspan got in the way, and he's good at doing that too. Kasim pulls in this ball. Nice soft touch to absorb that one. Johnson picked his pocket, did Kevin Kerr, and Frankie runs on.
There's a good steal by
Frankie
Kerr.
is tripped by his opposite number, Johnson. Oh, Frankie, his 3rd straight start. Jordan Dover's back. He's actually in the 18 this evening. He's on the bench. He played for Guyana at the Gold Cup, the biennial CONCACAF championship in the summertime. So that's North America and Central America. Guyana making its debut in the Gold Cup, and Dover played well for the most part. Got challenged against Team USA, but Pittsburgh hoping he grows from the experience. But no, Frankie is making a case.
No, definitely doing a great job here. Looking for the ball right now. He's on for it if they wanted to give it to him, but keeping it over on that left-hand side, keeping possession right now.
Well, it's tough to break up a winning streak. However, on short rest, maybe Lilly goes back to Dover at that right wing back spot for the 4th of July on Thursday. So Frankie might have another half here to prove himself and show more good form.
Yeah, I think we'll see how it goes. I think you might see Dover come in. Might have come on the right fullback position. He might put him in midfield or somewhere just to get him in.
Mertz
good
has
ball.
2 goals on the night. He finesses this one to Ryan James.
Here
James
comes Kerr
stops
with
on
the
a
cross.
dime. Kerr again right in. And there's Fisher getting in the way. Birmingham has let too many crosses go through in this one. And they were burned twice. On balls from Kerr to Robbie Mertz. Pittsburgh native is showing out on his home turf, literally.
That's a nice
Santos,
one too.
and now it's Forbes. Two-man game. Forbes trying to go back to Brett, or possibly Dos Santos. Waited a bit too long on the hesitation move. Johnson, wide side here. Kasim, he has 3 goals on the year. Johnson, way too much on that
wishful
route
thinking
1
with
ball.
that pass, yeah.
No one home over there. I think Avila was the closest man, or pardon me, that was Hoffman. Hoffman and Wright have been mostly at the top of this 4-4-2 for Tom Soane's Birmingham Legion.
Yeah, they've been on the ball more than any of the players, I think, too, Matt. They've been getting possession, you know, getting the ball, trying to create something, but really having no luck with it at the moment. And the Hounds doing a good job absorbing it and keeping control and knocking it around. Again, there's no real rush, so, you know, just pick and choose your times to break through.
Pittsburgh got a 3-0 lead at Atlanta 2 weeks ago, so they have some experience working with this type of an advantage. Not at home, though. Even last week, it was still just 1-0 at the half against Red Bulls 2 and what became a 3-0 result. And Forbes at a standstill. Christian Valesky is on the sideline and ready to go in for Steven Dos Santos, who twice tonight has picked up some knocks, so that makes some sense for Bob Lilly.
Yeah, saving for Thursday.
You'd imagine he'd be right back in that starting 11. Driven ball, Frankie making a move, but that one had too much carry on it from Forbes.
Yeah, that was needed to go a lot wider too, Matt. He sent it down the middle of the park, and it was too easy for the defenders to pick that one up, so it needed to go wider with that pass. So Frankie couldn't even make an effort to try and catch that ball.
Valesky ready to check in. He was one of 2 forwards signed in the offseason by the Hounds, who were so good defensively last year, but they felt like they lacked some creativity, some sophistication, to use Bob Lilly's word, in the attacking third, in the box. And while we're seeing Dos Santos catch flame, and Valesky is the only missing piece really up front right now. Here's a good give back to Johnson. Daniel Johnson slicing and dicing. Here he comes right over the D, and he's fouled just outside the area, I believe. Just outside. James appears to be the guilty man. Maybe it was Adewale. The Hounds converged on him, and referee Thomas Snyder is chatting with a whole bunch of guys in black and gold.
I'm waiting to see what he's calling here. I think it's a free kick where he's standing right now.
Just eyeballing it, I thought it was outside the 18.
Oh, it was for sure, but I think they're kind of questioning. I think he just went down, you know. And,
right, the Hounds are saying it was a cell job.
Yeah.
And so the wall will be set up right near the penalty spot. A tough spot, quite literally, for Pittsburgh at the moment. So Legion has some gas left in the tank here, and it comes courtesy of the substitute, Daniel Johnson. 18 appearances with the Chicago Fire, Johnson. You can see why with that elusive nature. As I said, there's some talent, there's some proven talent on this Birmingham
sure, for
club.
sure. And this is an opportunity that they want right now. It's still early in the game, and they'd love to get back on the board. This is where the wall's got to be really strong. I think 16's going to take it. He can strike the ball, we know that, but
will it be Kobayashi No, it's right on, save, rebound, another save. The third try is shanked wide.
Offside.
Offside anyway on the second opportunity, but wow. Prosper Kasim, got enough of it, but he put it right on to Morton, who had to have those lightning quick reactions.
That thing was flying. That was traveling, that ball, and lucky it was straight at Morton, but he didn't have any choice.
Dos Santos coming off, and we'll have a glance at his goal in just a moment here, and here it is. Yeah. Brett, the volley play on through to Dos Santos, and there was his third in third matches. That one put the Hounds in command here tonight, 1-0 in the 13th minute. Dos Santos out, Valesky in. Christian Valesky steps onto the pitch, and Dos Santos gives the fans a hand, and they follow suit.
No, that's a good call by Bob there, giving him, I'd say the 60th minute, you'll probably see some players start coming in, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Second ball, now a third, Kobayashi. We thought it was going to be him on the free kick, but instead it was Kasim. And it's Kasim again. Nudging past Frankie. No whistle. Over here is Wright at the corner.
Yeah, goal kick.
Goal kick, it's off him. The Hounds and Greenspan were able to squirt that one off his toe and out over the byline. Tonight's game brought to you by #1 Cochrane and the clearly better car buying experience. Thank you to #1 Cochrane for their sponsorship of the Hounds over the years.
Birmingham getting back into this game too, Matt. We're seeing really them having possession a lot more than they were in the first half, and I know on the sheet it said they had more possession, but we can see them creating some chances. They were not playing in the Hounds' end at all in the first half, but this half they've been really putting pressure on the Hounds and getting some chances on goal.
Well, just last Saturday, Birmingham scored twice against Hartford at home. I'm not sure the attack is the problem here. It just seems like this team plays without the ball too much.
Yeah.
When they get it, they're okay, but they've been leaky at the back end, and playing from behind doesn't help either. Valesky the flick on, but it's Kasim. And now Cromwell, right back into the mix here for Pittsburgh. Valesky reaching out, looking to cut through Turner, denied.
Mertz did well twice there, stealing the ball back, and the other players just couldn't come up with him.
It has been a struggle, though, on the offensive side. The 2 spot I mentioned against Hartford for Birmingham, but the last time they had 2 prior to that was May the 4th. And they had 3 twice in back-to-back weeks at Louisville and St. Louis. They beat both of those squads, 2 quality squads. They got results. They were 3-2-1. And since then, the bottom has fallen out. This will probably be their 11th consecutive match without a win, dropping them to 0-8-3 over that span. Kobayashi. Oh, Birmingham's just looking for something to hang their hat on going into the off week, their second and final off week of the season. Van Oekel comes out to take this negative ball from Mathieu Laurent.
Yeah, this Johnson's been getting on the ball a lot and getting some space too, number 14, and causing some problems. He got that free kick in the top of the box when he went at 3 or 4 players, and he's closing players down right now, making it difficult.
High press for Birmingham, and the most pressure they've put on the Hounds in their own end in this match tonight, which now wears on into its final half hour with the Hounds up 3. They'd love to get a 4th, obviously, but also love to get that clean sheet. They've had a couple of shaky moments here in the second half. Not a back by Laurent, but picked off by Valesky of Pittsburgh, and he put it behind Frankie, who was doing his usual thing, cutting to the corner flag. And Valesky didn't read his intention.
Yeah, I don't think Valesky's a forward. You don't want to come back with the ball. He had a lot of space in front of him. And Bob Lilly's going to say, hey, you got to go at players. You can't just get the ball and wait for somebody else to join up. It was a one-on-one situation, and you got to go at him.
Valesky just the 1 goal this year, 37 in his USL career. About 1 every 3 or 4 matches is his career pace. He had 1 wiped out at Memphis too, to be fair to him, that rain out. The Hounds led 1-0 at the half. That's one that stings too, a lost result, and Pittsburgh will have to travel back down to Memphis as part of a different trip later in the year. But yeah, that one goes their way, which it very well may have against another expansion side. Then yeah, they're a little bit further up the table. But right now playing well. Kasim, Prosper Kasim. Ghanaian attacker. Has it whipped away by Frankie.
Good job by Frankie there, yeah.
Careless moment.
I think he clipped it off his foot as well, but referee didn't see it that way.
Coach Tom Sohn of Birmingham has connections to Ghana. He's had some Ghanaian players with him in New England when he was helping to run the player personnel up at the Revolution the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And well, Kasim played in Sweden the last 2 years, but a native of that African nation, which always churns out talent.
Yeah,
Cromwell and Johnson.
Somebody's got to get on this Johnson. He's getting too much freedom with the ball, and we're not picking him up. We're like leaving it for each other, and then it's too late. And you can see they're starting to get possession of the ball a lot more this half, and creating some problems for the Hounds.
Johnson's brought a different pace to the attack, to the posture and the tempo of Birmingham Legion since he's checked in at the half.
Yeah.
Forbes escaping Hoffman.
And Forbes a little bit lucky there to get away with that. And there's a high one up front that nobody's going to go for.
Laurent has had some tough moments this year. He was responsible for an own goal at Indy that made it 2-0 at the half this past Wednesday. Just watching some of the highlights, Laurent has been the guy who it seems like he's missing coverage, is a little bit slow. And they were looking for more from him, who played in Birmingham in college as well. University of Alabama, Birmingham, UAB Blazers. A couple of former Blazers on this Legion team. Some Birmingham connections, some Ghana connections, some MLS connections for this management group to put this team together. James is going to get to this well-weighted ball from Forbes.
I thought he should
have flipped across here for Valesky and headed off and defended well by Kasim. He's doing it all. Both ends of the pitch right now. James and Forbes team up to win the ball back for the Hounds.
I'd like to see James go at the players a little bit. He keeps knocking the ball back in. And
one more for Valesky, who missed a golden chance last week late to make it 4-0. Doesn't get a look here with Fisher bodying him up, manning him up well. Definitely a slower tempo half for Pittsburgh. They have been playing a bit of the rope-a-dope. Kept Birmingham off the board so far, though, in the second half. Through ball too strong from Mertz, but Valesky applauds it.
I like Mertz's vision's great, and Valesky's got to get onto that, you know. Wasn't the perfect ball, but good to see that. And here's one stolen right at the top of the box.
Forbes did it. Valesky and Nico Brett, former Robert Morris University star, mishandles.
Yeah, no, couldn't get the touch on that one.
I feel like it's an underplayed story here in Pittsburgh. Brett, who played his college soccer just 20 minutes up the road at RMU, scored a ton. His running mate, Speedy Williams, also from Jamaica. Blatant giveaway. 25 yards out from goal. Forbes slid it through Mertz. And I think he was trying to set up Brett, and if he would have gotten that through, Brett would have had time to dust it off before he put it in, but it was not to be, deflected by Fisher.
Yeah, he was definitely looking for an assist there. Wasn't trying to go for goal, and defender did well and got a touch on it, which really made it tough to do anything with.
Johnson again. Oh, he's the man that Birmingham has found over and over again in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. And look, he's running free again now, Matt. I'm watching him right here, and nobody's picking him up.
Avila, he ran into the resistance of Ryan James, and James helped win possession back. Well, the Hounds will be at home on Thursday, and then Sunday at Charlotte. A bottom of the table team in the Independents, but a team that will be a challenge to break down on short rest. So Pittsburgh looking to bank 3 points here and then move on to the next. Cromwell got his foot around that ball. Tommy V rises high. So does Mertz. It's on the boot of Kasim. Turner to Kobayashi. Laurent. Avila, and back to Laurent. Johnson with his head up. Final 21 minutes. in Pittsburgh. A second substitution is ready to come on for the Hounds. It's Kerr, who took the legs out from Johnson there, but that draws the whistle and allows Anthony Velarde, the rookie pro, to check into the action. He's going to replace Nico Brett at the top of this formation,
Yeah,
so interesting sub.
I thought he was going to, actually. I was just watching Nico Brett, you know, he's kind of like, looks a little bit too weary, so I think Bob saw that and he thought, hey, here's my opportunity here. And I think he's explaining that to him right now.
Well, why change things? Third straight week that Dos Santos and Brett check out with the score out of hand.
Yeah.
And you save the legs of your forwards who need that quick twitch to do what they want to do. And so it's Velarde, though, getting a look, and well, now he's playing in the midfield. Looks like a solo forward right now for Pittsburgh, and a 5-4-1 formation is what I'm seeing in front of me.
I wonder if somebody's going to pick up Johnson, is my thoughts.
Maybe he is, right? That would be the ideal play with the fresh legs coming in. The youngster in Velarde, 23 years old. This is his 13th appearance. 10 of those coming off the bench. 1 goal in the USL and 1 goal in US Open Cup for Velarde. It's a big score in Division II, Fresno Pacific University. Morton spins this one, a back spinner that Velarde will battle with Johnson, and well, at least he battled to a draw, and so that allows Forbes to hop on it. Hounds a little bit small in the midfield now. They have Velarde, they have Mertz, they have Forbes, all guys under 6 feet. James, really Valesky, the only guy with some height now on the attacking side of the field for Pittsburgh. With
I'd like to see Frankie go on.
Brett too.
Again, no real rush. It's not like we're...
Hounds protecting pretty obviously in this second half.
Yep.
And it might even be a little bit different if they didn't have a game in 4 more days. So maybe trying to leave something in the tank as Mertz looks downfield.
Yep.
Puts it between a couple of Legion defenders. Kasim just held off Frankie literally long enough to get the goal kick.
Yeah, Frankie's very, very quick there. He covered a lot of ground quickly there and put the defender under pressure. Couldn't quite come up with it because he did a good job of blocking him off. But, he's deceiving. I'd like to see Frankie going down the line a little bit more because we've seen him, you know, take players on and get some great crosses. And so, as I said, though, no real rush here to do anything with 3-0 up. You don't want to give anything silly away.
Velarde on cue gets a touch here. Pittsburgh and Birmingham, 2 cities that have a lot in common. Steel in the history of both. You know, Birmingham's logo, the hammer and the anvil, you can see that.
Oh, that's
James
a great ball.
Will sprint to this and downshift here against Avila near the touchline. A little spinner back to Kerr, who remains in this match in the 73rd minute. Forbes showing some strength to get away from Johnson. Hounds knock it around. Velarde. Anthony Velarde. What will he do with it? He'll find Kerr. Pittsburgh moves the point of attack way over by the river side of the field.
Yeah, this side of the field wide open.
Maybe a switch coming. Well, if there is one, it'll be a little more deliberate, as Mertz will take it in the middle of the park.
Now it's closed down a little bit, so.
If you're going to make that switch, usually has to be pretty quick.
Yep.
To catch the defending team by surprise. And Adewale put his knee right in the back of the leg of Brian Wright. And now Toby Loba, which is his full name. Adewale will come in for a quick chat. And again, no card here. No cards issued in this match.
No.
Thomas Snyder content to let his mouth do the talking and not his pocketbook. So Kobayashi sets it up.
As long as you don't come up with a quick foul right after you've just been told.
Right, that's exactly what you want to avoid if you're Adewale, the third-year Hound. Adewale and Greenspan, 2 third-year Riverhounds. Those 2 and Kerr are the only 2 remaining from the pre-Bob Lilly days. This team really was remade.
Yeah.
Going into last season. And talking to Bob this year, he didn't know that Rochester was going to fold until about late October in 2017. So a lot of guys that he had in mind for Rochester ended up in Pittsburgh last year. Kind of behind the curtain look at team building and that whole situation. Velarde wants to use that good left foot, puts it back. Oh, yes! And it's Christian Valesky. And it's summertime and the living's easy for Pittsburgh tonight. There's the 4th goal. And we were talking about Velarde get to the corner and put that ball on a tee for Valesky.
Velarde, great ball there. Great for a forward when you've got a ball coming in like that, Matt. You just know it's coming in, bending in towards the ball, and nobody's around him, and he just puts his head on it. And obviously from, I guess it was probably about 4 or 5 yards out.
4 goals from open play for the Hounds, and Valesky, it would have been harder to miss that than make that from where he was standing. And where this ball was delivered.
There was nobody around him at all, and just got his head on the end of it and redirected it straight to the back of the net the way you're facing.
Laurent and Fisher were the 2 defenders closest to Valesky. Punts it away. I think he's feeling some frustration this year. He wanted to contribute more. Well, now that's 2 for him.
Yeah, that's good for him, and I think that's what Bob wanted to do for sure. Now I think he's going to throw in another player as well to get his feet wet. I can't see the number right now.
Velarde gets back on the score sheet. I mentioned he had a goal. That's his first assist. His goal was a PK in the 2nd match of the season at Swope Park. It was a big one that tied the match to set up that 2-2 draw. One of many draws and of the 2-2 variety that the Hounds have had this season. But now they're getting on the good end of the result bandwagon. This will be 3 in a row and 4 straight without a loss. Velarde will take this quick ball from Frankie. Velarde thought about making a run toward goal. Now he will, as players just back off.
I thought he was going to hit one.
Velarde
was on his left
and
foot.
Mertz, who has 2 goals in this match, drifts away from him, but then it drifts away from Kasim.
2 bad mistakes by both players there, but Hounds got the throw in real quick and got possession.
Well, it's a nice crowd in the Paul Child stand down to our right. From my understanding, it was pretty close to a sellout, if not a full sellout in the supporters section tonight.
Good. There's a big crowd here. It's pretty big now. I think they held off until they made sure the rain was going and then started turning up in droves.
Wow, for once we got a weather-related break at Highmark Stadium. That's nice. Nice to see.
Instead of a delay.
Right, no delay. There was a shower that moved through about 6:45, 15 minutes prior to kick, but it didn't chase the players off the field. There was no lightning, which is really the most important thing. The beauty of this sport is you can play through a lot, just not lightning.
Yep.
And over the years here at Highmark, Pittsburgh has played through quite a lot. Needless to say, if you're a longtime Hounds fan, you know that all too well. So here's Valesky, the most recent goal scorer. Pittsburgh gets 1 more on the board.
Oh, James.
That's now 12 in 3 matches. James couldn't direct that one online. Robbie Mertz is about to check out. We've received word from the 4th referee. Jason Caruso standing next to the rookie Sammy Kasai, the midfielder. He will replace Pittsburgh's Robbie Mertz in just a moment. So next whistle.
This Johnson is a wheeler dealer. He's a very good player.
Well, he's fun to watch, isn't he?
He is.
More fun to watch when, well, the home team's up 4-0, I would say that. He'd be a terrifying player in a tight match.
Yeah, really.
He
creates some chances and some problems for the opposing team. It should be a ball.
Getting into the box, Vanki is able to try to win that ball, and he did. Now it's swung away by Velarde, and Frankie comes out of the pack sprinting with that ball. Noah Frankie.
He's going to keep on going.
Keeps going and gives it square to Kerr. Referee says play on, and the Hounds have the advantage. Kerr, and he's swung around and dumped Kevin Kerr, and there is our first card of the night issued to Eric Avila, the veteran defender.
I think he was the first one to. I think he got Mertz, and now Mertz is coming off. A good, well-deserved rest here for Mertz. I mean, he's working his butt off out there, and it's good that Bobby got him out of there because he needs him again for Thursday night.
He's been in the starting 11 consistently over the past month plus, and there's a little extra emotion in that cheer. It's been a while since we've seen a Pittsburgh native make such an impact on the Hounds. It goes back more than a few years, in fact.
Yeah, really.
Mertz, dynamite and dynamic. Kasai in, 24-year-old from Maryland. formerly of the DC United Academy. Kasai gets his touch right away. Avila with the yellow card. No cards for the Hounds tonight. They have the fewest yellow cards in the USL Championship, just 13, about one a match. Velarde, from where he set up Valesky just a moment ago. Time he gives on the ground. Valesky will turn and wins the corner.
Nice move there by Valesky. I like to see that. The defender was really taken by surprise because I never thought he was going to go that way either, and got a real good touch on it. Defender did well getting back and blocking it though.
Valesky's looking spry. Believe it or not, this is our first corner kick of the match for the Hounds. Just one for Birmingham, 2 overall. We've seen some with 10 corners for the Hounds at home this year. Velarde, front door try. No go.
They're trying to catch the defenders by surprise. They're doing that quick near post.
Right back in on the second ball. Kerr was running too. Defended away by Laurent. Greenspan, a fundamental little header there. Directs it toward James. James hasn't been as involved in the attack today. A lot of it's come through the middle and then out to the wings for the Hounds. So he hasn't had as much of the ball, but that's what a good team does. He doesn't have to have it. He's had so many crosses this year, leads this team in crosses, but tonight more about Kevin Kerr, more about, well, we just saw Anthony Velarde as well. Attacking midfielders making some plays, and we saw Brett connect with Dos Santos. Velarde run off by Cromwell. Razak Cromwell won that race. Kobayashi. There you see the card issued to Eric Avila a few moments ago. Our first booking of the night.
There goes Johnson again.
Recurring theme.
Yeah, really.
Daniel Johnson.
A player to remember.
He is. And at 23, could easily work his way back up to Major League Soccer. I don't see why not. Poked away by Vanki Azil. Kobayashi slid down professionally there, a poised play.
Yes.
Daigo Kobayashi has had plenty of touches tonight, maybe the most out of this team. Holding midfielder. Johnson with his back to the Hounds this time. Couldn't quite escape Velarde's grasp.
Seems to get out of real tight situations. That's what amazes me. He seems like somebody's going to get him, and then all of a sudden he's gone, you know, and past another one. There he goes again.
He may well find his way onto the score sheet before the night's over. Pittsburgh's working on a clean sheet streak, though. They've blanked their last 2 opponents. And in a year in which they've given up more goals than they'd like, they want to keep that hammer down on the defensive side. Cromwell to the wide side, and Avila. Turner. Right in, and Adewale, a missed touch, and there's the goal for Birmingham they were looking for. Well, we were talking about Legion getting something to at least feel good about themselves about, and it will be Chandler Hoffman cashing in.
This is a mess-up between Greenspan and what he thought Greenspan was going to head that ball, and he kind of ducked underneath it. I don't know if we get a chance to see that again, but and then Adewale was just like a step too late to get to the ball.
So miscommunication after all the dynamic plays we've seen from Johnson, and the Legion have looked better in the second half, but that one was handed to them.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
the most part. Hoffman scores, and it amounts to a tap-in for him. For a goal scorer of his accomplishment, for sure, it's a tap-in. So he leads this team with goals, and, well, he checks out right away. How about that? He's out of the match. Joe Holland, the former Riverhound, does make an appearance. A man who was born in Birmingham, England, now playing in Birmingham, Alabama. How do you like that?
Yeah.
We were discussing that in the pregame. Paul, you're not from too far from there.
No, really, I'm from Birmingham as well, so it's pretty interesting to say, see a player coming from Birmingham and playing with Birmingham as well.
You know, he calls it Birmingham. I say Birmingham. So that's been fun all night, though. Hey, that's how it's said over there.
That's it.
And I'm sure in Alabama there's little bit of a southern accent on it too, which I can't quite replicate. I'm not going to do that on the air.
Yeah, and I couldn't at all.
We'll leave that go. Velarde turning. Joe Holland, a former first-round pick, top 10 pick of the Houston Dynamo of Major League Soccer just a couple of years ago. And in talking to Tom Sohn this week, he said the guy's got a good soccer brain, but he needs more consistency from Holland to get him in the starting 11 more often. Isn't quite there all the time. And I think that's the same issue that he had in Pittsburgh with Bob Lilly.
Yeah.
You've got to be on your details to play for Bob Lilly. We know that.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes things come late, you know. And maybe you still got a chance here of breaking through. Kerr with a nice ball there into Velarde, down the line for, here goes Frankie.
Frankie
crossing
it on the ground, but no one home.
Dear.
Right through the middle of the box. You'd have to imagine if you're Velarde, someone's going to get on the end of that, or pardon me, Frankie.
Frankie, yeah, definitely. That's the most perfect pass, but top of the box and between the penalty spot and the D, and nobody at home there, or was on the same page, or was making a run forward.
Kobayashi, another train passes behind the pitch, a frequent sight at Highmark Stadium. BBVA Field in Birmingham, the home of the Legion, also has a train track right next to it. They also play on the south side. Like I said, a lot in common between these two teams, but right now heading in opposite directions, obviously. Pittsburgh zooming up the table, about to collect its third consecutive victory and be unbeaten in 4. James, after Adewale, turned that ball around. Final 5-ish from Pittsburgh. I'm Matt Geico with Paul Child. There's a give up from Vankiazil. Kobayashi, oh my, he leaned back and left-footed it into the club seating.
You can see when he got it, Matt, he was already starting to wind up. Here's a replay from the goal. There goes, I don't know what.
Adewale just put it into a dangerous spot, and then Greenspan backed off. James was behind his man, which was Hoffman.
Just really not sharp and being ready for anything. It's kind of like gets a bit sloppy.
Velarde did not keep that in.
No, gets a bit sloppy when you're 4-0 up. You obviously feel comfortable. Sometimes you get caught like that, and I'm sure Bob's not going to be happy with it, but he's got plenty of goals in the book, so I'm sure he's okay.
5 total goals in this match. Highest scoring match when you factor in both teams of the year, or at least ties it for the Hounds. They had all 5 against Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. Well, you said it. Bob will have some things to look at this week. There was that. There was also Morton fumbling that attempted cross early in the second half. So could very well be 2 for Birmingham at this point. Johnson, again, weaving his way.
He's the only one really buzzing, to be honest with you, that wants to make something happen. It's nice to see, and young player that's got some future ahead of him.
Just 45 minutes he'll have in the books, but he's earning his post-game meal. The long trip back to Birmingham is on tap as a 2-match week, 2-match trip, Indy and then Pittsburgh for this Legion team, which is about to suffer its 10th loss of the season against 3 wins and 4 draws. Laurent, incisive little ball there to Joe Holland. Familiar face here, gave it right back to the touchline and back to Laurent.
Joe Holland can hit a ball really well too if he can gets in the position, but it looks like he's playing just behind the like his number 10 position. He's getting free but not getting the ball.
I thought late last year Joe Holland was coming on for the Hounds. He had a goal in a late season match against Indy that was pretty important. And then I thought he caught a bad break in the playoff game. He got red carded late in extra time. He was this close to putting the Hounds ahead and delivering a win on a run, on a deep ball, rainy night. Who knows what could have happened if he'd have gotten to that ball. Looked like he was ready to put it in. Instead he slides into the keeper. I didn't think it was a malicious play, but red card was issued, and that was his last play as a Hound. Johnson guides it through, but there's Kyle Morton off his line to smother it. Greenspan claps his hands and says, come on, guys, a little bit more effort on the closeout, and we can take this one home 4-1.
Yeah, got to wake up. You can't get it's important to keep the intensity up, and especially you never know when you're going to be in a situation like this again, or it's going to be a real close game. So I'm sure he wants everybody to pick it up for the last 4 or 5 minutes here.
Well, Bethlehem Steel is close to the Hounds in the standings. That'll be the opponent in here on the 4th of July. Playoff rematch. Bethlehem won that match I was just talking about, involving Joe Holland with a late opportunity. They won it 8-7 in the penalty kicks in the quarterfinals of the Eastern Conference bracket last year. Pittsburgh wants to get some vengeance. They drew Bethlehem 2-2 earlier this year in Greater Philadelphia. Johnson with Velarde on his back.
Yeah, here
Half minute left in regulation. Daniel Johnson to Holland. Wanted to go right back to Johnson, maybe get it to right. But Pittsburgh's out of Wale. Guided that ball back to his keeper, Kyle Morton, who won't get the clean sheet. But he's got a few more saves to his credit, bumping up that save percentage, which was pretty ugly early in the season. He was stopping just 33% of shots at one point. On the attack tonight, Birmingham has 4 shots on target, so that'll be 3 saves for Morton to this point.
What do you think about 2 or 3 minutes extra time? I don't think much more than that, if there's even
3
that.
is the number. Your guess was good. Joe Holland, and a stop made by his old teammate, Kyle Morton.
Yeah, I just said that about Joe Holland. Has a good shot on him and comes through with a shot. And obviously, when you come back to an old team, you want to have a good turnout.
Nifty in a tight area. Look at that step over to create some space against Greenspan. Really, it was a pretty decent strike too.
Yeah.
But Morton read it and snatched it down. Those big gloves. So Chandler Hoffman scored in the 83rd minute to disrupt the Hounds' effort at their 3rd consecutive clean sheet. It won't be tonight. Clouds moving back over Highmark Stadium, but we're in the dying moments of this one. 2 goals for Robbie Mertz, 1 for Dos Santos. That was the opener. In the second half, Christian Valesky, Thomas Bunky Azil given a rough ride by Daniel Johnson.
Yeah. Look, he's still got his shirt on, but one other thing tonight as well, Kevin Kerr's played the whole 90 minutes, which we haven't seen him do that for quite a while. And obviously Bob leaving him in there, needs him in there for his experience. And obviously he's been, I don't know whether he would call it rewarded to play the whole 90 minutes, or but it's good to see him do that.
Kevin has been subbed out around 70 minutes, 80 minutes in recent matches. But Pittsburgh going a different route here tonight, getting Sammy Kasai in for Robbie Mertz. Maybe just to give Mertz the chance to get that standing ovation coming off the field. That might have been it, honestly.
Sure.
Or at least part of Bob Lilly's calculus on that move. Just about a minute and change to go in this one. Another highlight-filled evening. Talking about fun matches, this might be the most fun for Pittsburgh to put on this show at home, and it might not be over. Velarde looking for a high 5. Gave it over to Kevin Kerr. Can he strike it home? It's deflected at the last possible moment. Corner for the Hounds. That had promise written all over it.
Yeah, Kerr looking weary there, getting up. You know, as I said, he's played 90 minutes, and he's been making some great runs down the left-hand side of the field, and he's expended some energy.
Under a minute to play probably in this one. Velarde, though, a solid ball. Laurent, give him credit. He lunged over, made the effort to protect his keeper. Van Oekel thanks him for not allowing his stats to take another hit. That's either a throw-in, yes, it is a throw-in, or a goal kick, but it's right just above the corner flag. Laurent will take. Birmingham looks like they're going to survive this chance. Adewale, Kerr, now Valesky. Over the top with the strike, but the Hounds were offside anyway.
Boy, I don't know what happened with that strike.
Nearly had a double brace, but it doesn't matter. Hounds win. Hounds win. The Hounds are on the trot as we head from June into July. 3 wins in a row and 4 unbeaten. Pittsburgh keeps it going, and their most prolific 3-match stretch offensively since 2004, Paul Child.
Yeah, really, it's nice to see that too. And Kevin Kerr there, first one over to the referees and shaking their hands. And what a good job he did tonight with some of his 2 great assists and breaking the assist record. It's great to see for him, and I'm really happy for him.
Pittsburgh 4 more in the back of the net. Robbie Mertz with an embrace here for one of his teammates as we look on here at Highmark Stadium. Fans ready to pour onto the pitch and meet some of the guys. What a crowd-pleasing night it was. We'll recap it when we return on ESPN+.
The Pittsburgh Riverhounds will be offering their soccer camps this summer with a refreshed focus and new curriculum. The summer camp program is for players aged 4 to 13 and led by RDA coaches with appearances by professional players throughout the week. Each participant will receive a ball, a Riverhounds SC summer soccer t-shirt, and a ticket for the Riverhounds SC game versus Loudoun United FC Friday, August 23rd. Contact the Academy office at 412-325-7238 or register online at riverhounds.com.
What do you call it when Western Pennsylvania's largest automotive retailer begins selling the region's most popular brand?
Chevroletary, which also describes our grand opening offers.
Introducing the all-new #1 Cochran Chevrolet, where you'll find a special 2-year lease on a sporty Trax from just $99 a month. The unequaled Equinox as low as $139 a month, plus $1,000 extra for trades at the all-new #1 Cochran Chevrolet.
I should have been a cowboy. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour 2019. Friday, September 27th, 7:30 at Highmark Stadium with special guests Clay Walker and Gabby Barrett. Toby Keith. Whiskey for my man. On sale now with Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Trusty Entertainment. Toby Keith and his That's Country Bro Tour.
Fifth victory of the season for the Hounds, and it was their biggest offensive show of the season in front of the home crowd here at Highmark. We might be getting out of here just in time, Paul Child.
Yeah.
I'm Matt Geike here from the south side of Pittsburgh. Let's look to see how this one developed. A fun night if you're a fan of the black and the gold. And it started quickly because there were chances right from the start. A couple of maybe missed calls on potential PKs, but the Hounds kept plugging, and here's Dos Santos.
Yeah, Dos Santos really doing a real composed job there and getting a good touch and seeing the keeper going down and just chipping it over the top of him. Great job there by Dos Santos.
4 goals on the season for Dos Santos, but 3 in his past 3. Yeah, he's excited about that one, and Brett gets on the assist train here. Here's Kevin Kerr, the record-breaking assist in club history, and look at Mertz tumbling through with the header. He was defended by Turner, but not well enough.
No, not at all. Kerr giving him a great ball there, curling away from the goalkeeper, so the keeper couldn't come out for this ball, and Mertz just really making an effort and getting there. And the same with this one. Same thing exactly. Mertz making an effort, getting there, losing the defender, and just having an open chance and getting his right foot on it and putting it away.
First 2-goal game of his pro career. Robbie Mertz, congratulations to the young man from suburban Pittsburgh. And to put the icing on the cake, Valesky, Christian Valesky on the back post. Van Oekel didn't like it, the keeper of Birmingham, but about as clean as you can get. Valesky finishes the Velarde cross, who checked in. Both players checked in the second half, in fact.
Yeah, and this one, a really weird header by it's like he didn't even really expect it and then ducked and thought, because really he would have chested that ball and cleared it away, but obviously made a mistake and knew it right afterwards, and I'm sure he's going to hear about it from Bob Lilly.
Well, so one black mark there, maybe a switch off for a moment by Toby Adewale, but otherwise the Hounds run the table tonight, basically a 4-1 win. Their 4 goals, their most in a home match since last September the 7th against Bethlehem Steel was the same score that night. Possession about even. Legion looked pretty solid, actually, in the second half. I thought they were creating chances.
No, they really came out, and I thought they were starting. If they'd have got a goal really early on, I think that would have been a real turning point for them. But they got one late in the game and had a couple of chances, which was blocked off the line, actually.
Well, you're stuck with us again on the 4th of July. If you don't make it down to Highmark Stadium, that is. We will return for the final of 3 consecutive home matches for the Hounds. The traditional Independence Day matchup against the cross-state rival Bethlehem Steel. We hope to see you here. If not, you can catch it on ESPN Plus or Pittsburgh's CW. Good night from Pittsburgh. A great night if you're a Hounds fan.
And good night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.